Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. I gotta tell you, I'm kind of annoyed with Wanda Sykes. She just made this comment that really annoyed me. Here's the comment.
Hey, first, let's give it up for Nikki Glaser right now, huh? Come on. So, and shout out to the Golden Globes for having me because, there's some people pissed off that a queer black woman is up here doing the job of two mediocre white guys.
Now, here's my question for Wanda Sykes. Who are the two mediocre white guys that you refer to? Is that a shot at the other presenters? Because here's the list of the presenters. I didn't go back and fact-checked it, but here's who they released before the Golden Globes aired. Your presenters, which could include two mediocre white guys, were Amanda Seyfried, Ana de Armas, Ayo Edebiri, Charlie XCX. Which are the two mediocre white guys so far? Is it Chris Pine? Colma Domingo, Connor Story, Dakota Fanning, Dave Franco, Diane Lane, George Clooney, Haley Steinfeld, Hudson Williams, Jason Bateman, Jennifer Gardner, Joe Keery, Judd Apatow, Julia Roberts, Justin Hartley, Catherine Hahn, Keegan-Michael Key, Kevin Bacon, Kevin Hart, Kira Sedgwick, Lalisa Manabal, Luke Grimes, Macaulay Culkin, Marlon Wayans, Melissa McCarthy, Mila Kunis, Miley Cyrus, Minnie Driver, Orlando Bloom, Pamela Anderson, Priyanka Chopra Jonas, Queen Latifah, Regina Hall, Sean Hayes, Snoop Dogg, Wanda Sykes, Will Arnett, Zoe Kravitz. So, Wanda Sykes, I'm not sure who you think is mad. I was watching live and I went, oh, there's Wanda Sykes. That was the end of my thought process. I wasn't like, oh my goodness, I can't believe Wanda Sykes is up there. There should be two mediocre white guys presenting. So I have no patience for her comment. So then I thought, is that a shot at who hosts the awards? Maybe she thinks mediocre white guys host award shows. Well, clearly last night's host was not a mediocre white guy. It was Nikki Glaser. Previous host, Joe Coy, Gerard Carmichael, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, Ricky Gervais. You have to go back to 2019. Are you mad about 6 years ago? Andy Samberg and Sandra Oh. 2017, Seth Meyers. 2016, Jimmy Fallon. 2015, Ricky Gervais before Ricky, Tina and Amy 3 times, Ricky 3 times. Maybe she meant the Academy Awards, hosted in 2025 by Conan O'Brien. He's not mediocre. He is a white guy. Jimmy Kimmel for 2 years. Maybe she doesn't like Jimmy Kimmel. In 2022, maybe she thought the hosts were terrible. I did. They were Amy Schumer, Regina Hall, and Wanda Sykes. Before that trio, Jimmy Kimmel, and before that, Chris Rock. Maybe she meant the Emmys. Maybe she meant 2025 host Nate Bargatze. He was not good. Maybe she meant 2024's Eugene Levy and Dan Levy. Now that could be who she meant. Before that pair, Anthony Anderson, Kenan Thompson, Cedric the Entertainer, Jimmy Kimmel, Nobody, Pandemic, Michael Che and Colin Jost. Before that, Colbert and Kimmel. Maybe she meant the Grammys. Hosted the last 5 years by Trevor Noah. Before that, Alicia Keys. 2 years of James Corden and LL Cool J in 2016. So, Wanda, I'm not sure who you mean. By the way, Grammys coming up. They have yet to announce Trevor Noah as the host. Now, they did the same thing last year. They were very slow to announce Trevor Noah. And I'd be surprised if he's not returning, but that has not been announced yet. Then she took a shot at Bill Maher.
I'm presenting the award for stand-up comedy on television, but first, I want to give them some love. Bill Maher, you give us so much, but I would love a little less.
She did have a funny comment about Kevin Hart and money. I agree with this.
Kevin Hart, where's Kevin? Kevin, you know I love you. And the thing is, Kevin is the richest guy in this category. And yet, I know he wants it the most. You're a true American, Kevin.
And then the shot at Ricky Gervais that I told you about on yesterday's episode.
Ricky Gervais, I love you for not being here. No, I love you, Ricky, but because if you win, I get to accept the award on your behalf, and you're going to thank God and the trans community. And the Golden Globe goes to, Tiana, can I borrow your speech? Ricky Gervais, because he would like to thank God and the trans community.
Ricky did not react to Wanda's comments on social media. He did tweet, effing one, period, again, period. Nikki Glaser, generally well received as your host of the Golden Globes. I think it makes sense to bring her back next year. I think she was maybe a little too safe this year. Weird thing to say about Nikki Glaser, right? And you can see that the Hollywood crowd is starting to accept her as one of their own. Nikki might want to take a step back to the right and be a little edgier next year, assuming she is back. Leading up to the Globe, she was profiled by Parade magazine. They asked her, do celebrities generally handle their roast well? Nikki said, oh yeah, if you sign up for a roast, you know what you're getting into. And even if they haven't, I haven't had any backlash from any of them. But I always thought if they get upset about some of these jokes, that's their fault because there is a precedent. After the Tom Brady roast, she said she spiraled because I worried that I had to deliver that kind of performance every time. Like the bar was too high. And then even after the Globes last year, Jon Stewart tweeted something like, Nikki Glaser is very good at this. Tina Fey and Amy Poehler wrote me too. Those messages really resonated with me, and I guess I had to believe them. Good answer here. They were curious if she's still in competition with other comedians, especially female comedians. Her answer, yes. I never thought I was a competitive person. I never really did sports. I just didn't really care about board games, but I like winning things. As far as female competition, I hate to say it, but it is true. Like people always say there's enough space for all of us, but the industry is built so there's one leading woman per movie. If you look at comedy shows around LA, there's 1 or 2 women and 8 guys. So to say I'm always in competition with everyone and not just women would be false. It's just math. But I don't want to hold women back by any means, but I do have jealousy sometimes. And do I feel competitive against other women? You can't not. Wow. Adam Sandler, he was robbed. He should have won Best Supporting Actor or something like that. We got to reward Adam Sandler for doing good drama. Adam did over the weekend receive the Career Achievement Award at the AARP's Movies for Grown-Up Awards. Adam Sandler, being that it was the AARP's, got real about getting old. Sandler said, a lot of people said to me, Sandman, getting a double AARP award means that you're old now. To what I say, it's not because of this award. I've got 10 other reasons that I'm old. He said, the font on my phone is so big that my text can be read by anybody with a window seat on a Delta flight. There, I feel ya. My wife was asking me to read something. I'm like, I can't read this font anymore. It's so bad. Sandler said, when I received the Academy Award screeners, even though I pressed play on 44 different movies, I could only stay awake for a combined total of 8 minutes. For all of you who are getting all the accolades, I must say, I love the first 30 seconds of all your work. Sounds like me. Sandler and I could be friends. We have a lot in common. Right now, I'm wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt. We could go clothes shopping together and watch sports. Sandler said, I promise to everyone here tonight I will make at least 50 more movies before I'm dead, and at least 25 of them will be good. So it sounds like he's planning on making 25 more dramatic films. Hank Azaria stopped by Neil Brennan's show. He did Trump quotes as voiced by Simpsons characters. I've slightly edited this for pacing, and there's what's called peak distortion in the audio. That means the audio source was a little too hot into the recorder. Hot means loud. So you're going to hear some fuzzy audio here at points, but here's Hank Azaria on Neil Brennan's Blocks podcast.
We're going to get the drug prices down. Not 30%, not 40%, which would be great. Not 50% or 60%. No. We're going to get them down 1,000%, 600%, 500%, 1,500%. Numbers that are not even thought to be achievable.
This was pretty satisfying.
Professor Frank, my personal favorite. Nuclear is so powerful. My uncle explained that to me many, many years ago. The power. That was 35 years ago.
Kirk Van Houten. I know a lot about grass, because I own a lot of golf courses. And if you don't have good grass, you're not in business very long.
Radar Online saying Lorne Michaels is getting close to being pushed aside, and a power struggle is exploding at 30 Rock. A source tells Radar Online, which tends to be a little gossipy, doesn't mean they're wrong, but they tend to be gossipy. Tina Fey is the frontrunner to succeed Lorne, but a lot of key players can't stand her and are going to raise hell if she's hired to do the job. Now, I wonder who those key players are, because cast-wise, I'm not sure there's anyone right now that if they left, you'd be like, oh, that's a major loss. I mean, there's Jost and Che, but they've been at the desk a long time, and we're closer to the end than the beginning there, unless they pull a Keenan and just host Weekend Update for 30 years. But there's no Bowen Yang right now. Bowen's already out the door. So I'm not sure who you would be sad about losing unless there's, some assistant producer or a head writer that I'm not familiar with. Maybe that's who they mean by key players. The source claims insecure men on the cast and in the writer's room just wouldn't feel as comfortable reporting to Tina Fey, who's 55, as they are reporting to Lorne Michaels. Michael Che says Lorne is irreplaceable. He wasn't speaking about Tina here, but he said, I don't know. I don't know how you do that job and not be Lorne. It'd be strange. To me, it's like, imagine being the stepfather of a 50-year-old. The source says, people like Seth Meyers and Colin Jost have been mentioned. Seth's talk show is made in the same building as SNL, and there's a lot of creative overlap with writers, directors, and crew. Meanwhile, Colin is closing in on 20 years with SNL. He's given the series the best years of his life, and there should be some reward for that. The source warned any transition isn't going to happen without conflict. SNL is in turmoil. Wow. Bring it on. I need something to talk about. I think the big thing, never mind just flying the ship, flying the show week to week. The big thing is Lorne's power base and his ability to call A-listers in. Like, is Paul McCartney answering the phone for Tina Fey or Seth Meyers or Colin Jost or Candidate 4? I don't know. But you don't get that without doing the job for several years. So it's kind of catch-22. I think Lorne should have gotten out after SNL 50. Could have taken that victory lap. Nice, even number to get out on. Big celebration. Make season 51 someone else's problem. We'll see. Sarah Sherman was on Mike Birbiglia's podcast. Birbiggs asked Sarah who she's most jealous of. Sarah said, I'm jealous of a couple people. I'm jealous of Ashley Padilla, my coworker and friend. She calls Ashley SNL's breakout star. I've seen a few people say that. I'm not seeing that yet as a guy sitting on the couch, but okay. Sarah said, she just writes the perfect sketches. She's amazing. Are you playing Comedy Survivor with us? What you do is you go to the Facebook group, which is Daily Comedy News Podcast Group. You will find an image of me extinguishing Amy Schumer's torch. Amy Schumer was voted out in week 1. It is now week 2. Voting is open until end of day Thursday. Still in the game, Adam Sandler, Jay Leno, Joe Coy, Jim Gaffigan, Nikki Glaser, Seth Meyers, Kevin Hart, John Mulaney, Oskar Kotzka, Sebastian Maniscalco, Tig Notaro, Sarah Silverman, Leslie Jones, Ron White, and Bert Kreischer. You go to the Facebook group, you find the picture, there's a conversation thread there, you vote one person off. There's already a vote for Bert, there's already a vote for Sandler. If you get a chance to listen to the Good One podcast last week with Chris Gethard, Vulture has pulled most of the quotes if you just want to read it. I encourage you to listen to it. I thought it's going to be one of the best podcasts of the year, and I know it's early, but this will be there at the end. Gethard said, the game, comedy, is feeling progressively more rigged now. Comedy's being backed into a corner that's not good for artists. We're being tricked into feeding a system that's going to do what Spotify did to musicians. Your biggest thing ever? Disposable. TikTok doesn't matter. If you've got 5 million views, next week they won't remember it. You can be on some of the biggest platforms in the world and not make money. You can get a special on Netflix, but all the production costs come out of your end. Comic may have worked on that special for 5 to 10 years, and very often, they're not even making 2 months of rent and expenses from it. Gethard said there's starting to become a dialogue in comedy of, are we participating in a thing that's not even working? I've had a couple clips bust out, and you don't see ticket sales from those. Yeah, that's, I've been loud about this in the podcasting industry. Everybody's like, YouTube, and I get it, and Discovery, and the algorithm, and all that. But at the end of the day, none of that pays the mortgage. You know what pays the mortgage? Doing an audio podcast in your basement. And running those commercials and making football picks and getting paid to make football picks. That's what pays. The YouTube stuff, yeah, all right, Discovery, that's nice, but the money's not there. And TikTok clips, the money's not there. Gethard said, I've started to hear this from other artists too. People who want to consume comedy in 45 to 90 seconds at a time on their phone don't want to go out and sit through a thing for an hour. He went on to say, I'm in so many ways envious of the options at the hands of young creators. You don't have to wait for gatekeepers. You don't have to audition for a house team at UCB or wait for a call from JFL or the Aspen Comedy Festival. But look at Ariel Elias, good joke writer, charming persona. How does the world know her? Because a maniac threw an effing full beer at her head. That's why we know an artist. That's a great point. That is why we know her. I highly encourage you to seek out that podcast episode, the Good One podcast. Great job there, folks. Nick Kroll is getting a new Netflix comedy series. It's called 100%. He's joined by cast members Sam Richardson, Jason Mantzoukas, and Vanessa Bayer. They all play podcasters. That's going to be really good. Gabriel Iglesias, just back from the Riyadh Comedy Festival, he's inked a deal with Comedy Dynamics for the distribution of some of his most iconic specials. Now, I don't understand what is happening here. Under the deal, Comedy Dynamics will distribute original and animated versions of Gabriel Iglesias' Hot and Fluffy, I'm Not Fat, I'm Fluffy, and Aloha Fluffy to various platforms. So those are re-releases, but animated versions? So what are we doing? And Tig Notaro did this already. She had a special called Drawn, I believe. So maybe he didn't shoot some of those as video and they're going to animate it? I don't know. I'm confused. Gabe dropped by Jay Leno's garage. So here you have Jay Leno, the worst person who ever lived, and Gabe just back from the Riyadh Comedy Festival, and they teamed up. Gabe was showing off his IROC Z. As the story goes about this IROC Z, it was originally sold by a dealership in Ohio and purchased from a collector last year, then bought by Gabriel Iglesias. Apparently, it's a very low mileage IROC Z, like 400 miles or so. So if you want to check that out, Jay Leno's Garage. And that is your comedy news for today. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.